Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of The Sheer Perspective. And today, or tonight I should say, I'm going to review TNA's Bound For Glory 2012, TNA's version of WrestleMania. And I must say, going into the show, I was a little bit skeptical. This definitely did not look like a WrestleMania-style card to me. It didn't necessarily look like TNA was putting its best foot forward. When I think of, a WrestleMania or a big, grand wrestling show, I know it's not a WrestleMania, but it's TNA's version. It's what TNA wants their WrestleMania to be. I think of, major matches I really want to see, something that's really worthwhile for me to tune into. And on this show, I did not really see a match that I really wanted to see, that had really major heat for me, at least, that I was like, I have to see that match. But I must say, I was genuinely impressed with TNA's effort tonight. TNA put on a phenomenal show tonight. And before I even get into the review of the matches, I want to point out a couple things. The production of this was top notch. The video packages were fantastic. The video packages were almost right on the level of most of WWE's video packages. They were that good. They got you into the stories. If you're like me and you don't watch a terrible amount of TNA, these video packages definitely helped you get into the feuds, into the storylines, and made everything seem like a major issue going on right now, which is what you need for your big WrestleMania type show. You want to build it up. If you want Bound For Glory to be your big major show, you have to have video packages like this that show your product off in a compelling way to really get me amped for all of the matches, which is what it did here. Plus, all of the backstage interviews were fantastic. Magnus had one, Bobby Roode had one, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian had a hilarious one that I thought was phenomenal, and then Austin Aries had another great one. All four of those were just fantastic mic work put between all of the matches. There were no other really segments besides for those, but those segments really drove home how well some of these guys are on the mic, and the difference between TNA and WWE on the mic. It seems like it's a lot more unscripted, which comes off better for me. But let's get right into these matches here. The first match they had, the X Division title defended, Zema Ion defending against Rob Van Dam. This was a pretty good match. Honestly, Zema Ion really blew me away with his phenomenal offense. He's a phenomenally athletic guy. I'm using phenomenal a lot. AJ Styles, no pun intended. But he's a fantastically good high flyer. He's not the best worker in the world, but I think he can get there. He's got a great character. He's got wonderful charisma. He's got a great persona. I really enjoy Zema Ion here. I've seen him a couple times in Evolve, but this is my first real... I mean, I've seen him in TNA too, but this is my first time where I really thought this guy could be a legit star someday. He's young, he's athletic, he's charismatic, he's some guy TNA needs to build around. I think him beating Rob Van Dam here would have been better. That really kind of deflated the ending for me. Rob Van Dam kind of just hit 3 moves in 1. But, the crowd was hot for Rob Van Dam. The crowd was hot for the entire show, by the way. So, Van Dam gets the victory here, wins the TV title. I'm going to give this match 3 stars. I still thought it was really good, and I think Zema Ion could be a huge asset for TNA in the future. Then we had Samoa Joe defeating Magnus. Another match where I was really kind of blown away about how good it was, even though it was so short. Samoa Joe is always very good. Magnus, he's impressed me. He's got the look. I think he's got the chops on the mic. His wrestling skill was kind of questionable for me, but he looked very good in there. He looked like he actually hung with Joe. He looked like he could hang with a top-notch TNA guy, and that's exactly what he needed to do. I do think Joe going over is the proper move here, because Joe just won the TV title, which, when Devon left, which we'll get to that in a second, when Devon left and, Joe won the title, you can't just give it to Magnus 2 weeks after, Joe wins it. So I think Samoa Joe holding on the title here, is a good move. I think Magnus should win something like this TV title down the line, though. Then we get into kind of questionably early to put this in the card. I think this was the biggest match in the card for me, and it was the most important. If there was one major match where I said, I was worthwhile to tune into, this was the one I was really, wanting to see. And that would be James Storm and Bobby Roode, not Robbie Roode, well, it's Robert Roode, Bobby Roode, same thing. In a street fight with King Mo as a special guest reporter. Before I get into this match, I want to say they used King Mo very sparingly, and I really liked that. Old TNA would have thrown King Mo in there, had him screw someone, had him, beat up both guys by the end. It would have been the stupidest storyline progression angle ever, and they would have just had some kind of twist where King Mo would have turned on James Storm, beat the crap out of him, and helped Bobby Roode win. and it would have been fucking horrible, and I would have shit all over TNA for it. They did not do that, and I was very impressed that they haven't. And I know TNA's been getting pretty good lately, is what I've heard. I really still do not watch it because I'm still turned off by the old TNA. But this is something that could bring me back in, because this match was fantastic. James Storm bled a freaking lot, a lot of blood. I mean, it was almost levels probably of Eddie Guerrero bad, if you remember that. The Muda scale would have been going off the Richter in this match, because he was bleeding all over. This match was extremely violent. I love Bobby Roode's the it factor of professional wrestling. I think that's a phenomenal persona. He's phenomenal again there. I think both these guys have great chemistry together. The feud's been going on for a year now. I think it's time to move them on, but they're definitely, upper mid-card main event type guys that you can throw in there with anybody and they can have a pretty good, fun match. And they're definitely great at these type of brawls. I'm going to give this 4 1/4. It was bloody, it was brutal, it was violent, it was captivating. They had the crowd on the palm of their hands. And, even King Mo was looking at it like, damn, that's a pretty gruesome match. It was pretty gruesome by the end. And yeah, 4 1/4, very, very good match. Probably best match of the night. Probably match of the night for me. Then we have Joey Ryan defeating Al Snow, and this was just wildly entertaining. Maybe just all the references to head. Just really, I mean, the commentary on this match was hilarious. The commentary was golden. It was great. And I don't even usually like Taz and Mike Tenay, but I loved the commentary for this match. I thought the whole match was fun. It did what it was supposed to do, which was, get Joey Ryan the contract, get Al Snow over again, I guess. Al Snow was definitely over, especially when he pulled out head. Matt Morgan coming in there and screwing over Al Snow. I really want to start leading with this, because Matt Morgan yelled into the camera, like, I'm going to go through your whole entire roster, which I thought was really good. It was really captivating little promo we cut. It wasn't necessarily, I guess, it kind of seemed like a shoot, because he was just, yelling into the camera on the side. He didn't have a microphone or anything. But I thought this was all done really well, and the wrestling was adequate enough, and it was fun for me, and that's really all I was hoping for this match. This match could have been a lot worse than it was. Let's be honest. Al Snow still in pretty good shape to wrestle, pretty darn good shape there, and Matt Morgan, coming back. He came back in an exciting way. That little, like I said, a little promo at the end really, brought me into his character and what he's going to do, and if he's going to run through all TNA's roster. I'm going to give this match 2.5 stars. Better than I thought it was going to be. Then we had the triple threat tag team match. Like I said before, this Christopher Daniels and Kazarian cut not gonna say phenomenal, cut an awesome promo. Let's just say that their promo work in this whole entire card was fantastic, and I think this might have been my favorite one, especially with Daniels having his little green drink and using that as like an innuendo in there, like saying we're gonna drink you or whatever, or we're gonna go back and celebrate after this. We're gonna turn you green like this drink. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I remember when he said it. I was like, this promo is fucking great. But anyways, it leads into the triple threat tag team match: Christopher Daniels and Kazarian versus Hernandez and Chavo Guerrero versus AJ Styles and Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was just on fire in this match. He always is. I could watch Kurt Angle drop people on their head with German suplexes all day. Literally, I could find. I want someone to make a 3-hour YouTube video just Kurt Angle doing German suplexes, because I would just eat that shit up. That would probably be better than this pay-per-view, honestly, and this pay-per-view was pretty fucking good. But he was lighting it up in this match. Everyone did great. There was just so much athleticism in this match, between AJ Styles and Kazarian and I guess Angle. I mean, he didn't really do anything big. Hernandez had a lot of big cool moves too. I was really surprised by the results. I guess I wasn't terribly surprised, but I didn't really think it was time for Hernandez and Chavo Guerrero to have the titles yet. Like I said, this match was great. The only thing was it was pretty short. It was only like 15 minutes, but it was 15 minutes blistering, breakneck, hyper-speed type match, where they just went balls to the wall and just threw everything they had at each other, especially the last 10 minutes of just flip dives to the outside the whole entire time. Huge German suplexes, huge power moves, great athleticism. This is the type of match TNA should be putting on basically every one of their pay-per-views, honestly. This is the alternative WWE. You don't see 6 or 7 or 8 dives in a WWE match. You don't see that type of stuff. You don't see this type of athleticism and this phenomenal display of just high-flying ability that a lot of guys on TNA's roster possess, with guys like Zema Ion, with guys like Kazarian, with guys like Hernandez, who's a big guy who can fly as well. Hernandez is another guy, just like Zema Ion and Magnus, who I think could play a huge major role in TNA in the future, definitely. Really impressed with this match. 4 stars. I knew it was going to be great, and it was great here. Then we had Tara versus Brooke Tessmacher. This wasn't too bad, honestly. For a women's match, you could definitely tell they were trying. It was a little sloppy, but you could definitely tell they were pulling out big moves. There were some big moves that I was like, whoa, that was pretty impressive. Especially Brooke Tessmacher's Hurricane Run into DDT, and it wasn't the best women's match of all time, but it felt like, they got enough time to make it into, it wasn't like a major match or anything, but on Bound for Glory, it felt adequate enough to fill in for the women's match, the women's match they usually seem to have on every pay-per-view. It felt like it was a big deal, Brooke trying to prove that she was better than Tara. Tara ended up winning in the end anyway. I'm going to give this 2 1/4. It was probably the worst match in the card, but it really wasn't bad. This is the worst match is 2 1/4. You have a pretty good show. Then the Jesse from Big Brother 10, I guess, came out and made out with Tara, and that's her boyfriend or whatever. I don't know. The crowd was chanting, "Who are you? Who are you?" The crowd was hot all night, really, honestly. They played a major part in the show being good. I really do believe. If the crowd was dead, the show would have not been near as good. The Phoenix crowd, was super hot the entire time, and I applaud them for that. But like I said, this match 2 1/4, nothing really here. But it wasn't special, but it was definitely adequate enough for the biggest show. It was definitely better than the Maria Menounos tag match from WrestleMania 28, if you get what I'm saying. On the biggest show of TNA's year, they definitely had the WWE there. Then we had Aces and Eights defeating Sting and Bully Ray. Honestly, I thought Bully Ray was going to turn here. Did not happen. Came out in Sting's face paint and everything. I enjoyed this for what it was. Aces and Eights came out with Joseph Park and handcuffed Joseph Park with the thing. I think one of Aces and Eights Luke Gallows. I think the other one was Wes Briscoe. I'm not entirely for sure. But this match was a good little brawl. The crowd was really hot for Sting and Bully Ray. Joseph Park actually broke out of his handcuffs when the third member of Aces and Eights came in, and actually beat up the third member of Aces and Eights and beat him up the ramp. Eventually a fourth member came in, powerbombed Bully Ray through a table, getting the victory. Then Hulk Hogan comes down and almost ruins the whole thing for me because he punches out all 4 members of Aces, or there were 5 at that time. He punches out 4 members of Aces and Eights, gets in the ring with their leader, pulls off the thing, and it's Devon. Devon's leader of Aces and Eights. Honestly, I don't know if this is just genius or not. I really don't. The pop for this was none. There was not a pop at all. People were just kind of bewildered and dumbfounded by this, I believe. And I don't know if that was a good or a bad thing. But Devon yelled at everybody "How do you feel now? How do you feel now?" And I think it was genius just because Bully Ray was in the match, and the look on his face that Devon did, and he was like, "Why? Why did you do it?" I'm actually kind of excited to see where they go with this now. It's definitely wasn't Jeff Jarrett and Eric Bischoff like a lot of people thought. I think it's good. I think it was a good swerve. I don't know if it makes sense yet. I want to see where they go with this before I judge this. Finally, we get Jeff Hardy versus Austin Aries for the TNA World Title. Honestly, Austin Aries looks like he just came off of the movie set of 300. Honestly, that's exactly what he looks like to me with his beard going around and stuff. He looks like the lead major character of 300. Jeff Hardy came out there then just with his just white and black face paint, like he just got home from a Kiss concert or something. Or he went to some metal concert and dressed up and all. So the Creatures of the Night thing was just kind of stupid. This match was pretty good. It started out really slow. It was kind of boring at the start. It picked up a lot after Jeff hit the overthrow powerbomb thing. We had him the powerbomb and threw him over his head. Good moves, good action. Picked up a lot of drama at the end. Going back and forth. Austin Aries hit 2 heat-seeking missiles out of the ring. They pulled out all the stops in this. I think it could have been a little better, but it was better than I expected. I was hoping for even more, but it was still probably a better match than I expected. Jeff Hardy picking up the win, a little upset by that. I really wish Austin Aries would have won. I want him to become just a major part of this company because he's a guy that they could really build off of, more so than Jeff Hardy. But Jeff Hardy is one of their most popular guys. He does sell a lot of merchandise, and they do want him to sign that new contract, so they had to give him something here. Honestly, I'm going to give this show an 8.75. I was talking to my buddy, the Mad Scientist 7890. He said it's probably TNA's best show of the year. I haven't seen all TNA's shows this year, but I would probably agree. Definitely better than Victory Road, which I watched and actually fell asleep during. I did not even think about falling asleep at all of this show. If you haven't seen this show, buy the show, get this show, stream this show, download it for free. It was fantastic. It was definitely a great night of TNA action. I'm excited to see where TNA goes from this. Later, guys.